Sunday afternoon, we have the battle for the top spot in the AFC North. The red-hot Pittsburgh Steelers hosting Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and this potent Ravens team. Jay, how are we feeling about this matchup?
It's one of my favorite matchups to look forward to all year across the NFL. Harbaugh versus Tomlin. This is the 35th or 36th time they've met. This is a bloodbath. You throw out all the stats. I don't care who's first in offense, first in defense. I don't care about anything statistically. This is about these guys buckling up their chin strap, putting their mouthpiece in, and butting heads for 60 minutes. Turnovers, third downs, red zone. I say it all the time. It's going to be critical. Lamar, how are you going to stop Lamar? How are we going to stop Najee Harris in the running game? How are we going to stop Derrick Henry? The play action of Zay Flowers. There's a lot of variables in this football game that are exciting to watch, but it all comes down to who's going to be the most physical football team. And that's what it's going to be. The line of scrimmage, who's going to protect their quarterback and get after their quarterback, who's going to stop the run and be able to run the ball at their will. Offense, defense, don't forget about special teams. Danny Smith for the Pittsburgh Steelers will have something up his sleeve. And obviously Jim Harbaugh is a known special team coach. He'll have something up his sleeve on special teams, which will create a momentum change in this ball game. It's going to be a great game. It always is when these two teams get together.
We're going to ask you who you think it's going to be in a little bit. But speaking of the quarterbacks and especially Lamar Jackson, Colt, he's playing at an MVP level. Talk to me more about Lamar Jackson and what he's bringing to the table right now for this Ravens team.
Yes, he is. And you heard what Coach Tomlin called him. He said, this is Mr. Jackson. Okay, that's who we're playing this week. When I watch the Ravens play, I love their strategic play calling by Todd Monken. The things that he does from a personnel standpoint with Andrews, with Isaiah Likely, with Patrick Ricard, with Charlie Kohler, who's a great blocker. Nobody talks about him. How he uses those guys in formation causes nightmares for defenses. Anytime Patrick Ricard's on the field, he can do it all. Lead blocking, he can still catch the ball. He's right there in front of Derrick Henry when they run downhill. We hadn't even talked about Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. He's got weapons and toys all around him that are playing at a really high level. But Lamar Jackson, the dual threat ability that he brings to the field week in and week out, he for sure, Justin, is playing at an MVP level and is the best one in the game right now, in my opinion.
If it wasn't Lamar, it may be his backfield mate and Derrick Henry that would be getting some MVP votes. I know it's tough as a running back. AQ, you played 12 years in the NFL. How the heck is Derrick Henry able to still play at such a high level?
It's one of the most impressive things I've seen. I mean, listen, I think when he went to Baltimore this offseason, they were like, hey, we're just going to give him 15 carries, and he's just going to be just a third down guy or a second down guy. He's going to, split carries with whoever they got there. But for me, I've watched so many good backs over the years hit a certain point and then they fall off a cliff. It's the one position where there's no drastic decline. It is here, you're up, and then you fall off a cliff. And for him, he might be playing his best football this year. And I think that's one of the most impressive things when I watch the Baltimore Ravens.
He doesn't have to take all the pressure. He's got Lamar Jackson back there. He's got Mark Andrews. He's got Isaiah Likely. He's got all these guys that they can do it all. But as a defense, you got to be able to stop them. You got to have a plan for them. A lot of times Monken gets these guys to play base personnel groupings because they've got Ricard and Derrick Henry on the field, but they'll go 20 with 3 receivers and play action you to death. And so it's just a very good mix of all these guys playing at a really high level. Derrick Henry's playing his best football, but it's not like he's got to go out there and just win the game for him every week.
Well, teams can't totally commit to Derrick Henry because if they do, guess who's going to keep the ball around the edge for a gain of 40?
Exactly.
I'll give a prime example of that. I was at the game on Thursday watching it. Do you guys remember that play where Lamar Jackson rolls out and everyone's saying, throw it, throw it, throw it? The coaches are screaming, throw the damn ball away, and he rushes and almost gets that touchdown. If it's not Derrick Henry running you over, it's Lamar Jackson running you around and trying to game plan for that. It falls on the shoulder of Mike Tomlin and this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Jay, you mentioned it. They've gone against each other 35 times. Tomlin holds a slight edge, 20-15. What's it like playing against a coach that you've gone against 35 plus times, have a storied history? How do you prepare for that? Do you try to get cute and change things up? What do you do?
I don't know. I only lasted 5 years, so I can't tell you. But I'll tell you what I like about both those guys. They allow their coaches to coach. Look at John Harbaugh. What he does, he lets Todd Monken call the offense. He lets Zach Orr call the defense, and he helps out special teams. Mike Tomlin obviously lets Arthur Smith call the offense and lets Terrell Austin call the defense. They let the coaches do their job, and they interject motivation. They're great motivators. They command the football game, the football field, the meeting room. They understand each player, what they're all about, how they tick, and how they can get them better. And I think that's what's very important about coaching nowadays. It's not so much about calling plays off your call sheet. It's motivating the players and individual players and then each team within a team. And I think both those guys do as good a job as anybody in the National Football League at doing that.
They know how to handle the personalities. And if there's one personality I have a question on how to handle, it's coming from Mike Tomlin and his Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a quarterback controversy early in the season. You have Russ Wilson, you have Justin Fields. Fields went out there and played good football. He played winning football. And then Mr. Incredible or Mr. Unlimited or whatever we're calling Russell Wilson nowadays swoops in, takes the spot, starts throwing these deep bombs to George Pickens and Mike Williams. Is the quarterback controversy over, Colt? It's Russell Wilson's team.
He's playing great. And we all had different opinions on this, kind of thought Fields was the guy. But Russ has come in and done a great job. And really, they just play such good complementary football. And I think that's what you get from Russell Wilson when you really take a deep dive is he understands the big picture of the game. He understands, look, I got a top 5 defense that's going to stop guys. Let's play for field position. When we got to punt, let's punt. I'm not going to take too many risks. When I have a shot, I'm going to take it. I'm going to use all the experiences that I've gained throughout my career. He's played in big games, won a Super Bowl, right? You can tell that he is very much aware of all of that. And the Steelers are playing great complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. And he's leading the charge from that standpoint.
AQ, how do you see this game going? What are some of the keys? Who do you got winning?
Well, listen, a week ago they traded for Preston Smith, and I'm sitting there like, what? This is a crazy move. Where are they going to play him? How many times are they going to use him? They got Highsmith, they got Watt. Well, then guess what? Highsmith gets hurt, and now you thrust Preston Smith into this lineup. This game, I was a part of it. I played for Baltimore. I got drafted by Pittsburgh. I was a part of it on both sides. I know what this game means, and it always starts with in the trenches, right? Like they're going to start with running the football and stopping the run. Both teams are great. Both teams will rely on their defense to get big plays and stop the run and hopefully make another team, one-dimensional. And at the end of the day, I think Baltimore is the one team that if you make them one-dimensional, Lamar can still go 20 of 26 for 300 and a bunch of scores. So I think Baltimore wins this game.
I agree with AQ. I think Baltimore's a better team from top to bottom. I know this, like I said before, you throw out all the stats and what you think about this game. This is going to come down to turnovers and the line of scrimmage, like AQ said. But I think Baltimore can handle the line of scrimmage offensively. Their offensive line is pretty good. They have good physical tight ends that can block and catch the football. And then they add Deontay Johnson. I don't know how much of a factor he's going to have, but go along with Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman is another weapon for Lamar. So I think just Lamar, Derrick Henry, it's going to be too much for Pittsburgh.
Before we continue with the video, I have to ask one favor. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and turn on those notifications. If you like this type of content, if you like hearing us talk football, hit that notification button. So every time we drop a video, it is coming straight to you.
This is a hard one to pick. You watched the game last week. The Bengals had a great plan in the first half. They held Lamar. They held that offense. Didn't score any points, and all of a sudden, like you get in the fourth quarter, it's just an offensive explosion. And so I still think the Steelers are going to come out on top on this game. I think they're just well-rounded. I think defensively, they're going to have a plan for him. They're going to have a plan for Derrick Henry. And if they can stop the play-action passes from Lamar, I think that's what's separating them so far is the looks that they get in the pass game because of Derrick Henry and because of these personnel groupings I talked about. But at the end of the day, these two teams know each other well. I think the Steelers have a good plan. I think Russell doesn't turn the ball over. I think he just takes what they give him, and it's going to be a low-scoring game. I feel like the Steelers have an edge right now, and they're playing good football. The win they had at the Commanders on the road, kind of backs against the wall, we're behind most of the game. I just think they know how to win. They know how to win division games, and it'd be hard for me to see the Steelers not winning this one.
Jay, I got to ask you a quick question. Have you ever seen a team win a game getting the rookie defensive tackle to jump off sides like the Commanders game? I know you're our Commanders guys. Why? Jerzon Newton jumped off sides to lose the Commanders the game.
Yeah, that's a shame. The bad spot by Zach Ertz, too, didn't help any. That's some, you got to give him the first down there. He had forward progress. That game should have been won by the Commanders. It's unfortunate. The guy jumps offside. He's a rookie. I was hoping Bobby Wagner would take him. Hey, don't jump offside. It's 4th and 1. But he jumped.
That is the nuances of a Mike Tomlin coach teams. It feels like they win those
Everybody
types of
does
games.
that. I mean, it's not a nuance.
All
Everybody
right,
does
sorry,
that.
Shanahan
All right,
tree,
calm
the
down.
McVay tree didn't look good last night,
by Mike
Gruden.
Tomlin. It's a freeze count. No play, no snap, no play, right, Colt? How many times do we do that?
That's right. Exactly.
What kind of point bump do you get playing in Pittsburgh? Is that one of the best home field advantages?
Listen, when you got these two teams, I don't think it plays into it, right? Like, they're so used to playing one another. I know whenever I played for Baltimore, each team won the away game. I think you almost embrace it. I remember Terrell Suggs literally going and grabbing a terrible towel out of someone's hand, running up and down the sidelines, throwing it down, stomping on it. They live for this game, and they live to be the villain in the other team's city.
You want me to sing Renegade for you, Justin?
Oh, mama.
There you go, AQ.
Nice.
I'm looking at this game. Something's up with the Baltimore Ravens defense. They are nowhere near the defense they were last year, but I can't count out Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I got to ride with the Baltimore Ravens in this one as well. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, Colt. I think both these teams are going to put up points. Lamar is not being stopped. I don't care how good the Steelers' defense is, and the Ravens' defense isn't the same as it has been in years past. I think it's a shootout, and the Ravens come out on top.
I guess I'm the only one taking the Steelers.
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite players' stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.